Sandra was the pride of her family, a beautiful and intelligent young woman from Elisha. She had always dreamed of a romantic marriage that filled with love, passion, and the blessing of children. When she met Kunle, a charming and well-respected businessman from Lagos, it felt like destiny. He was kind, caring, and promised her the world. It seemed like a perfect match, and after a platonic romance, they tied the knot in a grand ceremony. The first night after their wedding was meant to be magical. Sandra had waited for this moment with excitement and anticipation, but as they lay together, something was off. Kunle was struggle, and no matter how hard he tried, the passion he had imagined never ignited. His body was not moving at all, his eyes filled with shame. He turned away from her, leaving her with a sinking feeling in her heart. Days turned into weeks, and their intimacy became a source of pain rather than joy. Sandra tried to be patient, to be understanding. She encouraged him to seek help, but Kunle turned off her concern. It is just stress from work, he would say. Give me time. But time only made things worse. Sandra felt like a prisoner in her own marriage, bound to a man who could not fulfill her needs. She cried herself to sleep many nights, longing for the love and passion she had been promised. Her mother word echoed in her mind. Marriage is for better or worse. My daughter, endurance is the key. Then came the deeper heartbreak. Sandra empty womb. Months passed, then years, and no child came. She visited doctors, took herbal treatments, and prayed fervently. The doctor assured her she was fine, but when she suggested Kunle get tested, he grew defensive. There is nothing wrong with me. Stop listening to outsiders, he said. The same and whispers from family members grew louder. Her in-law began to blame her, calling her barren, accusing her of sin she did not commit. Maybe she had done something in her past, they murmured. The pressure was unbearable. One evening, in the heart of an argument, Sandra broke down. Kunle, if you love me, go and get checked. We cannot keep living like this. Kunle face darkened. He walked out and did not return that night. The next morning, he left for work without a word. Sandra sat in their empty bedroom, staring at the ceiling, wondering how she had ended up here. The love they once had was gone, buried under shame, secrecy, and unspoken pain. Months later, after much pleading from his mother, Kunle finally agreed to see a doctor. The truth scattered them. He had an underlying medical condition affecting his fertility. Worse still, his lack of circumcision had caused recurrent infection, which had worsened over time. The realization hit Sandra like a storm. All these years, all the pain, all the nights of silent tears, had they been, had they been for nothing? Kunle began her Kunle begged her to stay, to keep trying. We can adopt Sandra. We can find other ways, but she had already lost too much of herself. The woman whose one dream of love had been replaced by a broken, weary soul. One morning, she packed her bags with one last glance at the home that never truly felt like hers. She walked away. She chose herself, her happiness, her future. As she stepped onto the street of Elisha, the wind brushed against her skin, whispering a promise of new beginning. Sandra had left behind a marriage that drained her soul, choosing to reclaim her life in Elisha. But moving on was not easy. The whispers followed her, the judgment from family members who believed she had abandoned her duty as a wife, even as she tried to rebuild. The loneliness weighed on her heart. Determined to make something of herself, she started a small business selling handmade Adire fabrics. With time, her craft gained attention, and soon she was supplying boutiques in Lagos. The work kept her busy, but the nights were still long. The memories of love lost creeping in when she least expected them. Then one day, fate brought someone new into her life. Tunde, an old friend from university, had returned to Elisha after years abroad. He was different from Kunle, gentle yet firm, understanding yet ambitious. He saw Sandra for who she was, not for the shadow of her past. At first, she was hesitant. Could she trust again? Could she open her heart after all the pain? But Tunde was patient. He walked with her through her fears, never pressurizing her, never making her feel less. One evening, as they sat in front of her small shop, he turned to her, Sandra, you are more than your past. You deserve joy, love, and everything good, but you have to believe it too. Tears filled up in her eyes. For the first time in years, she felt safe. Months passed, and their bond grew. It was not the platonic romance she had once dreamed of, but it was real, steady, and nurturing. Tunde proposed, not with grand promises, but with honesty. I will stand beside you, however long it takes. And this time, Sandra chose love, not out of desperation, not out of societal pressure, but because she was ready. As she walked down the aisle in a simple but elegant Yoruba wedding, she felt no fear, only peace. She had been through the storm and survived, and now she was stepping into a new dawn, her heart finally free. Married life with Tunde was everything Sandra had hoped for, filled with peace, understanding, and unwavering support. For the first time in years, she felt truly cherished. Yet, despite the love between them, another challenge again. Months passed, then a year, but the cry of a child still did not grace their home. Unlike her past experience, Tunde was not one to assign blame or wallow in denial. Instead, he stood beside her as they both sought medical advice. After several consultations, they discovered that Sandra passed years of stress and untreated medical conditions that reduced her chances of conceiving naturally. The news hit her hard. She feared history was repeating itself, that she would once again be labeled barren, an outcast among her people. But Tunde held her hand firmly and reassured her. Our love is not defined by this, Sandra. We will find a way. Determined, they explored other options, including fertility treatments and adoption. Through it all, Sandra remains resilient. She poured even more energy into her business, which had now expanded beyond Elisha, gaining recognition across Nigeria. Her story of perseverance and second chances inspire many women facing similar struggles. One day, when Sandra least expected it, she received news that changed her life forever. She was pregnant. It was a miracle neither she nor Tunde had dared to hope for. For the months that followed were filled with joy. When she finally held her baby girl in her arms, she knew that every pain, every struggle had led her to this moment of incredible happiness. As she rocked her newborn to sleep, Sandra looked out at the golden sunset over Elisha, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. Life had tested her, broken her, but she had rebuilt herself stronger than ever. This was a new beginning, a future of love, possibility, and hope. This is the end of the story. Thank you.